everybody. Hey, good evening. This is Lon Childs. Hope you're doing well. So tonight we're going to talk about what to say during your, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Now, the hear me out. So you can either do this two ways. You can either go for the really, really, really short, massive discount. Like if you're just trying to see if a promotion works, then you could do it for like a day or two. Okay. And you could do like, okay, this is going up to maybe, starting today and it's going till Sunday night. Or, okay. So if you started writing emails tomorrow morning, uh, and you stopped Sunday night or Monday afternoon, that would be a pretty good length of time for a promotion. Okay, especially one that's had a massive, like let's say it's above 50% off, like 65% or 70%. If you're going to do something like that, then you only need a few days to really see if that campaign works. And one of the things that I would do for that campaign is you could basically do what my buddy Travis Sago talks about, which is like, talking about how there's a flood coming in your industry and that you have a safe and dry boat to get someone out of that flood. And you just describe all of the things that are going wrong in their market, right? So like what if they're, a stay-at-home mom and they're looking for, a stable partner, you would talk about all the obstacles standing in their way and how those things are just going to get worse unless action is taken, right? And how your thing is going to let them, is the Noah's Ark that can get them to dry land safely, right? So you could do 2 or 3 emails like that. But really what you're doing is you're going to do 2 things here. You're going to either talk about the overt benefits for 4 or 5 days of like, hey, we've got this thing and this email, Black Friday email writing software, and here's the benefits of why you would want to use it. And, it's going to save you. It's going to save you from staring at a blank page, so that your emails actually go out on time and you start to make more money in the same time than if you were to just sit and stare at a blank page, right? So you would maybe do 3 or 4 days of just overt benefits, and then you would start to handle objections. Okay. And what do I mean by objections? So the objections would be, what if I'm not a good writer? What if I haven't been to school for this stuff? What if I'm not good at being creative? Those type of things. And then you would one by one handle those objections, one per email. I do see a lot of people doing this mistake where they put in all of the problems, like all of the flood in like every email, and they're saying like, hey, you might be dealing with, a thyroid issue. You might be dealing with low metabolism. You might be dealing with embarrassment at the beach, right? They start to put in every single symptom, right? And I would not do that. I would save each symptom for, there's no reason to like pile on the pain in so many different scenarios. I would just save one situation for every email, right? So one email could be about, the low metabolism and why it's no longer an issue because of your solution, right? And the more contrarian you can be, like, hey, if everyone that has low metabolism thinks that they have to take a certain pill or do a certain thing at a certain time, and like, oh, you need at least 30 minutes a day of exercise, and you're coming back out and saying like, actually, no, you don't need that because of this new breakthrough or what the product does or doesn't need to do. That in and of itself is pretty cool, right? Because then you're basically, and now if they believe this stuff, if they believe that their metabolism is leading to something, then that's a little harder to get around. But if they assume certain things like, oh, you need more vitamin D to be healthy or whatever their assumptions, and you can come in and actually say, hey, actually, no, the opposite is true, or you need less than you think, and let me prove it to you. So the more that you can take something that they hate to do, and they think like, oh, everybody has to stand in line at airport security, and it's just something you have to go through for 3 hours. And you're like, no, did you know that you can actually hire someone to stand in line for you, or at the very least do this TSA pre thing, which takes the takes it down to like, 15 minutes. So the more that you can challenge and bust assumptions in every email and have your product or service be the thing that is the bridge between where they are now to where they want to be, right? And it's all about those situations. But if you want my help in doing that, what I would recommend is if you go to chilesemail.com, and you can see that on your screen. It's CHILES, chilesemail.com. This is a really great 7-minute trick that's going to show you how to effectively capture attention, increase desire for what increase demand for what you have, and get people off of their butt to actually read your content, right? Because the hardest thing that we do as advertisers is to get that initial attention, right? To get that initial burst of attention and curiosity when so many people, and when in doubt, email more, right? Don't just send 2 emails, send 15. Like most people, they're going to be afraid to email every day. They're going to be afraid to annoy or frustrate their list. And, if people are annoyed by your emails, they're not going to buy anyway, right? And so just unsubscribe them, not a big deal. So anyway, I hope this little chat helps you, but you can go to chilesemail.com to get a head start on writing very persuasive subject lines just in time for your Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday promotions. And you can learn how to do it pretty much in 7 minutes or less. The whole framework is about 30 minutes of video, but you can learn this in a very short amount of time and implement it for the rest of your life. So it's an evergreen thing. It's not going to go away. It's pretty dope. So anyway, chilesemail.com is where to go to get your hands on that. Let me see. Somebody said, oh, cool. Thanks, James. What's up? Yeah, cool that you guys can see and hear this okay. It's always a roll of the dice to see, who can actually see it. So yeah, what I would recommend though is, go over there to chilesemail.com and grab that. I think it's like less than $10. And I think that would get you well on your way to shortcutting the massive amount of time it takes to actually start writing this stuff and crafting this stuff, right? Because the best time to plant a tree was yesterday. And so, if you haven't started writing today, then this will give you a dramatic shortcut. Usually in energy, right? Because energy is like the one thing. Time and energy are the 2 things we can't get back. So the less time and energy that I have to spend doing this stuff, and the more money I could bring in, and the more impact I can bring in for my audiences, the better. So, anywho, thank you guys so much, and I should be back on tomorrow. But yeah, head on over there to chilesemail.com before you forget about it, and I hope you have a great night. Talk to you soon.